Okay, I think we actually figured it out finally. For some reason, I have to restart my computer like a noob every time I go to stream, which is such a hassle, but here we are. So I'm on time. I'm on time. That's all that matters. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. And if you can hear me, please let me know. And I got to make sure I've got all the different chat windows open too. Cool. Hey, Slap you. Good to see you. I know that name. That name exists in the Discord. And Kodu, welcome, welcome. We got early birds today. That's cool. Couple of people. Awesome. Loud and clear. Perfect effect. Hey, yo. Good to see you. Oh, no. You guys are going to make me nervous. We got a crowd. Like, we don't usually start with a whole bunch of people all at once. That's okay. I'll trip my way through. Palic 2. And oh, man. YouTube Premium is here. If you didn't know, YouTube Premium is in the house. And by the way, if I could be an affiliate for YouTube Premium and sell it, I would. I'm a big fan. I use it every day, like literally every day. It's my music source, and I very much love it. But that's probably not what you're here for, is it? So let me just make sure everything looks right on the screen because I didn't have time to check it all out. But no, we're good. Perfect. All right. Well, this week was honestly, it was a great week. I guess I should go to the dashboard first. It was a great week for a few reasons, but I didn't do a whole lot, and so like it's interesting. My month of July, honestly, not going to be that stellar. I should say, great month for sure. Great month. I just didn't continue my trend here. One, because I lost a ton of money on Pew, and two, because honestly, with the Discord transition that we've been working on, that most of the people in the chat are aware of, it's been busy and I've been putting most of my time making sure that's as smooth a transition as possible. And it's been great. I've been super happy with how that's gone, but definitely I haven't had the same amount of focus. That's kind of an excuse. There's also the other thing that's going on is this whole part of my port here, Reddit and UNH. I left uncovered all week. I didn't touch it. In fact, UNH and Reddit, I think I've left uncovered for 2 weeks now. Not entirely. I had Reddit covered a little bit last week, which actually helped cover all the pew loss, all the puke that we saw in the port from last week. So they're really just on half the port. Doing 9K is pretty good. Not half, I guess, maybe 60%, something like that. Yeah, 60, almost exactly 60%. So 60%. I guess I could do the math if I wanted to for that return. Realistically, would be what, like 1.2%. So I guess with that in mind, it was a good week, knowing that I was planning on not touching these two to begin with, and being busy with everything else. But there's some interesting things to talk about. We had some things that went well, deck in particular. We had some things that didn't go as planned, but still turned out great. And then we had some real close calls in a good way. And yeah, a lot of good stuff to talk about. I guess one thing worth mentioning before we move forward is one, the port is back at an all time high. So, there was always these questions of like, inevitably, like, how come the numbers don't seem to line up? And I would give my reasoning. Basically, I started wheeling at the very bottom of the trough, and we're seeing the improvement now come out in the numbers. As I say, it all comes out in the wash, and that's true. We're having good results in the numbers. This number here, most importantly, keeps going up. At one point, it was negative, I don't know, 10 or something like that. Not because I did anything, but because I just started wheeling at the bottom of S&P. Um, you know, Complete drop that we had this year, thanks to some administration comments and challenges. But yeah, it's been great. And I know in the Discord has been also fantastic. Everybody is crushing it. Palic, I saw you. Bob Dog is in the house. Hey, John Rose. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that name. I just realized who it is. Yeah, it's been a good month for I think everybody, despite even with a lot of people taking a hit from Pew. which, I think everybody was clear on the risk that was there. It just sucks to see it realized. But even then, everyone's making money. And to have 1 week that you made less money, and in my case, still made money, it's about as good as it gets, right? Like, woe is me. I only made a couple $1,000s. Wow. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are just play me the tiniest violin that you've got right now. And I don't have a violin, so I can't do that. But overall, we've got a lot of stuff already lined up for next week, which is super cool. We've got a lot of earnings to talk about. A little bit light on my goal here for what I want my run rate at. I think that'll be back up probably next week, to be honest. And we should be back in good shape. I do, for the first time in multiple weeks, have live CSPs into the weekend, and I guess that's worth talking about while we've got them up here. Although we will talk about it in the other sheet too. But we've got Reddit with earnings coming up. We've got ASTS, which is just a play that I've been looking at, and as always, Showcase Genome. Oh, good, it's fake name. Good. Showcase Genome convinced me, not like told me to do anything, but he just backed up my thought process on it. So after a 10% drop last night into today, it seemed like a good play. So we jumped into it. And then Ondas, that's another one that was spiking up, came back hard, but we've got clear support at 2-ish, and we'll probably look at that chart a little bit later. So a decent amount, not a ton of money tied up, 150K. So like percentage-wise, not a ton of money, almost 10% in CSPs, or actually like exactly 10%. All right, exactly 10%. No, more, whatever. A percentage tied up in CSPs. I can't do the math today. And the thermometer continues to be fixed finally, and we're at a good spot. This does claim August, everything here in it. I never figured out that logic to fix that. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what the week was like, and we'll go through the trades and talk through some of the exciting stuff. Mr. Knickerbocker, what's going on? Are you a Knick fan? I know who you are too. I can tell by the little avatar that you're actually a potato, aren't you? And Flox joins us as well. Cheers. Thanks everyone for joining. It's really hot here today. I don't know about where you're all at, but it's like 95 and so hot that it rained today, and the asphalt steamed the entire time it rained and never stopped steaming until it just steamed everything off after it stopped raining. Not a good sign, but I guess that's August weather for you. So we'll get started here with GME. GME was I did this play, I think last week too, actually. Was it last week? I've done this a couple times now where this was kind of a standard buy and sell. Well, sell and buy, I suppose, where I sold a whole bunch of contracts, and this was done like a week or two ago. And then all of a sudden, it randomly spiked up. GME did. We can go check that out on. Let's do it on here. Randomly spiked to like not quite 25, but there it is. It was up there for a couple of days. Not even a couple of days, but yeah, we spiked up to 24 and change. I'd have to look at what the interday was here. I guess I could look at that on this. Oh, my pretty bull artwork. We'll look at that in a little bit. What was I looking at? GME. So if we look at the interday here, a couple of days ago, what do we spike to? Yeah, 24.77. So somewhere in this candlestick here, or one of these two candlesticks, I managed to buy back the contract for 50%, or maybe slightly better. Yeah, slightly better. And I have already since resold it. So, it's back out in August at the 15th. I was almost able to buy it back today again, actually. And so this is like an interesting example of a stock that no longer has the highest IV and the best premiums out there. Is there IV on here? There's probably IV somewhere on this chart. I've never really looked at it because I always look at it on the options chain, but it's probably on here somewhere. And the IV on GME is actually not that exciting anymore. It was obviously exciting for many, many months during the meme craze, if not probably a full year. But nowadays, it's calmed down a lot. So a lot of people think that you can't really sell options on stocks like that. But the trick is in that case to go further out. And it's not going further out as a percent return because that's you don't benefit going further out to get a better return, but you get more meat to work with, right? There's more meat on the bone. So when there's a small drop, 50% of a bigger number is obviously a bigger number. And that's all we're actually after when we're doing these like 30 to 45 DTE plays. Now, realistically, right now, it's only like 15 DTE, or I guess it's like 20 something right now, right? So, but I kind of like staying away from earnings a little bit because you have this effect where when earnings is between you and your strike or your expiration date, the backside of it doesn't swing as much as it does when you're not in that situation. So, like right now, that dollar to 50 cents, it doesn't sound like much, but you do that every week, and it's not even a big capital position. It's I'm doing basically a percent a week on it because the GME position is what do I have? It's only 25,000. It's 2% a week. That's 2% a week on a very small position, but consistently getting $500 week in, week out, right? So like this is one of those things where it's okay to not have super volatile stocks in your life. And if you have stocks that you like, but you're like, yeah, but the IV is terrible, you can still wheel them and very successfully. And the thing about GME is it almost never gets called away. I don't know what it is, but like I tell people all the time that my GME cost basis is probably like $6 now. Not these shares, some other shares I've got, but like just because every week you knock off 50 cents and you keep getting paid. It's pretty good. A Galton, good to see you. Nashville's trash. Oh, that sounds like I don't know. That sounds like hate speech. I don't know if I can allow that. I'm just kidding. Chattanooga is probably the same weather I have right now. It's very muggy and disgusting. Anyway, that's my rant on GME. Don't count it out. Definitely look into stuff like that when you have stocks that you like, but don't have the IV that you want, that you think you need, because you don't. You really don't. You just got to change the strategy up a little bit. Next up, we've got Open, this is the stupidest trade in the sheet this week. Basically, I literally was watching the chart, and it had done. We could bring the chart up on this one too. Maybe it's probably better on Robinhood, just because I've got the right chart set up here already. Let me shrink these down a little bit. I hope I'm not like hurting anyone's feelings on Open, because I think some people may have lost some money here. Oh, you know what? I hate Robinhood Legend when I'm trying to scroll through things. I forgot how it constantly shrinks stuff left and right. All right, we'll do this here. We'll go right back. Open. Perfect. So what I did, and we're going to have to change this from 2 hours to maybe we can get away. Let's try 30 minutes. See what that does. I think that's reasonable. And I think everyone remembers this spike here, right? And I started looking at it here. And I just remember going like, oh, that's... I didn't have it, but a few people on the server were playing it. And I know people got like $3.50 puts, $4 puts that they were selling. And they were wild premiums. Like, I think the $4 put, you were getting like something ridiculous, like $1 on a $4 stock. That's insane. But then apparently that didn't give you the downside protection needed, because we dropped to 280. And since then have dropped all the way down to 208, 206 at one point, which is insanity, right? Like, that's nuts. 205 even. Well, anyway, I was watching it here and I saw this drop. And at this point, either I think I bought it here at 370. What was it? 373. Okay. And I did 5,000 shares, which was maybe a little reckless, to be honest. Not a big percentage in terms of what I was risking, but this was purely a gamble play. And I generally don't do these, but I saw it in a way when I was looking on Robinhood Legend, because Robinhood Legend shows the action very clearly. where when we were coming up on this spike, I actually tried to buy it at 355 and it filled. And I did market. I very rarely do market, but it filled at 373. And I was like, okay, we're going to play this. And I just put a limit in. I actually put a limit in at something like 450 at first. It was something up here. And then it was clear that we didn't have that much momentum, but I still sold it at 395. And you can see that I got a little lucky because it didn't hang there for very long, but it filled and I walked away with a quick $1,000. Then it dropped and I thought about doing it again. And I'm like, you know what? This is like you go to the slot machine, you won, you walk away for life. You never play it again because you're never going to win again, which is actually what I've done in my life. At Mohegan Sun, I played one slot machine ever. I made $55. I took my ticket, I cashed it in, and I'm like, give me my money. I'm never coming back here again. And I've never played a slot machine that wasn't, one of those like comp things that you get at Vegas or something. It was ridiculous. 34 million shares. Yeah, that's insanity, dude. Yeah, what's the value? That's let's see. Yeah, 30.4 million. Insane. And then it was 16, and then it was 23. So you can imagine watching this just spike up. And it's interesting that it shows red, but it spiked way up. And then again, you could kind of see it petering off. And that's when I was just like, you know what? It's not that the hype is gone because it still was pretty hyped there for a while. But at that point, you could tell that people were clearly jumping ship. And then you're just in this situation right here, right? So I'm not a day trader. I'm kind of talking out of my ass, to be honest, but that's what I saw. I jumped on the train and like dove off it while it was still moving to get out of there and just not, I did not have any interest in running to the next station to get back on that train. And again, I'm glad I didn't. I will tell you this. I did think about like, whoa, do you buy it at 2? But then I just kept looking at like gap fill potential. I'm like, nope, I don't care about this stock at all. This is all like a tweet momentum based hype thing that happened and I'm good. And it's kind of like a giant bull flag now, actually, isn't it? I could draw. This is not like a traditional bull flag by any stretch of the imagination, but we've kind of got this thing going on where, I don't know. I don't know. This is, maybe not. This is just Mimi. All of it's Mimi. Anyway, like I said, it was the stupidest trade that I did. It worked out, and I left the casino happy, and it paid for sushi this week. So all good. Which takes us to another swing trade, and I've been sprinkling these in more and more. And I know Flox is on in the chat, and Flox is crushing it this week with way better fills than I did. I told people that buy it at 25 and sell it at 26, and that's all you have to do. Now I got this one. I did get greedy on, right? You can see this was the morning dump. This happens almost every day, and then it runs. So I managed to buy it at 24.59. And then I sold it at 25 because the chart, if I were to, I don't want to try to figure out where the chart is to bring it up. So we're going to just do some beautiful paint here again, right? If you look at the chart and I were to draw it freehand, which I think I could do, right? Yeah. It was, what happened? We dropped and I bought it here. Then we came up and I sold it here. And then we went like this and what? All the way back up to like 27 or something. And this was 24, I don't know, 24, whatever. So I think a few people sold at 26.50, if not 27. And a few people did it again today, actually. Well, no, was it today? No, I think it was yesterday. And yesterday had another really good, it was like 25 and then 27. So it's been staying in this channel here for quite some time. I know the artwork is amazing. I should probably bring up the stupid chart. I could draw there too. But we see, there's a lot of drawing on Reddit. But we could see this just every morning, dump, run, smaller dump, run. It's a very clear pattern that we've been able to take advantage of. And we take advantage with RDTL, the 2x leverage, because going from 139 to 146 percentage wise is, I don't know, what is that? 146 divided by 139, 5%. All right. And then if you do that on Reddit TL, RDTL, it's basically giving you, it's not quite 10%, but it's not far off from that. So your return on capital is just way better with the leverage funds. And that's like how I like to, that's one of the ways I like to use them. I like to use them for swings. I thought about doing that with Tesla. I should have with TSLL. I didn't. We can look at that real quick too, because of the earnings. And we had a clear opportunity at 10 almost, and then you could have sold that for 11.50. Been real happy with 11. That would have been a 10% gain in a day. So yeah, that's when you use these leverage stocks, is when there's this wild overcorrection. They don't exist for everything. I know Bob Dog actually bought some on UNHG the other day when it dropped to 278, right? So UNHG. Now UNHG didn't drop to, oh, I didn't realize it was that new. No wonder he got in there. But we dropped down to, it's really new. Holy cow. We dropped down to 14, and he could have sold it at 15.25, right? Potentially a limit. Honestly, just a dollar difference on that is, again, a meaningful percentage. I'm not sure if he's still on, if he did sell or not, but it was a good play, in my opinion, and one I thought about. But I'm so heavy in UNH that it just overexposes me for really not the biggest benefit, because I wasn't going to put like 100K in it or something. Do I use OKLL? No, I don't mess with I think that's Oklo. Is that what I'm assuming? Right? Yeah. I've actually just stayed away from Oklo in general, and I've been watching it since 25, somewhere over here, or 20, 20. And you could say, oh, I wish I got in there, but it just doesn't do anything. Muffin Man, I'm looking forward to your P over S instead of P over E, because I'm real curious what your take is on a stock like this that is just nonsensical. And I mean, especially when you look at some of these moves and then sustains. Like this is legit, in that we have these spikes, and these are like legitimate channels that it's been sitting in here somewhere between, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 2x, but that's okay. That makes more sense. I was wondering where I was getting these numbers from. Yeah, I was following it all the way back here. I was looking at the wrong stock ticker. That's why. But again, we've got like a real channel here forming already. And it's hard to say that this isn't just like what the stock should be at. Now, the history is not ultra long on this for how kind of memey it's been with the new administration and power needs for data centers and all that. But it's a real interesting, conceptually interesting stock to consider. I can't get myself to pull the trigger on buying it, because I'm like, I don't know, isn't it really worth like $5? They haven't made any money. I guess it's kind of Palantir-esque in that regard. So we'll see. I'll keep looking at it though. So yeah, RDTL, a little swing trade. $800, could have been 2,000, whatever. Actually, could have been like 4,000, I think, when I looked at where we finished that day. If I had sold at 26, maybe 3,000, something like that. Could have been a little bit better, but I'm fine with it. Anytime you essentially make free money from a swing trade, I don't know. Can you get upset about any profit? I don't think so. At least I don't. And then we had the classic Hims. Hims was at like, I don't know, $50 or $51. No, it was in the 40s. It was in the 40s. We could look at that chart too, because Hims, I love Hims. Although I haven't touched it since. Did I really draw that? I forgot I drew that. Oh man, these stupid teacups have been working every time. That's insane. Do you guys remember that? I drew that on stream. I didn't draw that. I don't think I drew that during the week. That's incredible. Cool. Well, it happened again, I guess. Although this is like the worst handle I ever drew. That's just wrong. I don't know, something like that. Cool. Anyway, I didn't realize I did that. So it was at what we were at, 49-ish, 48, somewhere over here. And I sold in the money CSPs $50 because we've been pretty well established, and it looked pretty clear that we were heading back to this channel, which that's actually what I should have drew, is not the teacup handles. So I'm just gonna, as proud as I am of that, I'm gonna delete that. And instead, I'd like to draw just a couple straight lines where we're in like this channel that has been great to play, right? And look where we are. We dropped out of it. Everyone panicked. Bob Dog's like, what is wrong with you people? Buy the stock. We played CSPs for downside protection all the way up and continue to do so. And now we're back in this wild channel of 52 to 60 or 65, whatever this is, 64. And to me, there's no reason why we don't stay here until earnings. And then all bets are off. Who knows what's going to happen here? So definitely be careful, because August 4th is the week after next. So if you play any options on HIMS, just keep that in mind. I think it's safe, personally, not financial advice, do your own due diligence, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you look at the reasoning behind what fell out here, it wasn't actually like a current revenue affecting issue. It was the whole Noro, whatever BS, and maybe more of a Noro issue. I should delete that. I like looking at it, but I should delete that. And I think that we've got a little bit of time to run here before we get into earnings. There could be a continued run up for earnings. There could be a run down. We don't know, right? If you were to, I'm not going to draw more stuff, but you could draw like the implied volatility line here pretty easily of, we're dead center of the channel. We can approach the bottom or the top. But kind of like bull, which we'll talk about in a minute, I think we're going to stay in this channel based on the historical and the lack of real catalyst. Now, the only thing that I can say that we've had catalyst-wise is the whole healthcare sector sold off at this point right here. If I were to zoom in here a little bit, like this was a sell-off across the sector. UNH got hit, HIMS got hit. If you're into Clove got hit. Pretty much even Lilly got hit, and they're a manufacturer, although they recovered faster, actually. But all of these, did I draw this line accidentally? Get out of here. All of them have since somewhat recovered, and HIMS popped back to where it should be, in my opinion. Hey, Showcase. Oh, I don't know if you'll get a bedtime story today. It depends where we go. We never know. I still have one other drink, so we could get there. We could get to bedtime story territory. We'll see. So I likely will look at HIMS next week. I stayed away from it once we got to this range right here, because it seemed plausible without zooming out a little bit that we would drop right back to the 50 range. But now that I'm looking at it, I think 55, 56 CSPs are probably a starting point to consider selling CSPs on next week. And I may do that. I kind of wish I did that today to get the couple extra days of theta in there, but that's all right. We'll see. Who knows what's going to happen over the weekend? There's a lot of tariff noise going on. If you're not following, all the tweets coming out from Trump updates and whatnot, and EU tariff deals and everything else to do with that. There's definitely a lot of noise incoming. Could very well affect the entire healthcare sector again, like it has been. So maybe it's okay not being it in the weekend. But I wouldn't have been upset, like, as of this moment, had I sold CSPs for like $55 ish going into next week. I'd probably feel fairly confident on those right now. So HIMS was good. Ended up with a quick 2,400, and yeah, that was a duh moment. Easy money in my opinion on that one. Man, some people Bob Dog got a better fill here. He was at, was it 185, something like that. A few people got as high as like 220. And I was like, oh man, I jumped in way too early. It was just like the timing was kind of off. And that's a good thing that, I need to be more patient in, and probably most people do, is, making sure that you're looking at what is fairly predictable micro movement during the day, right? Like when the stock peaks and we're way above here in the RSI and on both the 14 and the 2, it's going to come down. How far? You don't know. But like, if you see that and you own it, it's like, okay, maybe now's a good CC entry point. But if you're looking for CSPs, well, hang on a bit. Just let it drop a bit more. And not to say you wouldn't sell the same exact CSP. This is open, by the way. Don't even touch it. But like that's a good. Let's go to HIMS. That would be, a good time to consider here, right? Well, you can. This is a better one right here, where we had a big spike. Did HIMS drop like that today? I didn't even notice. But we had a huge spike up, and you would have been like, okay, probably should be looking at selling CCs here if I wanted to. And then a mega spike down where, again, you should be thinking in terms of if you're looking for entering, those are the times you generally want to do it. It's more pronounced with a more volatile stock that's got all that constant intraday movement. Like, there's some more stable stocks where, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I was going to say Tesla, and I know that sounds wild. Actually, DEC is a better example today. Tesla has been pinned, by the way, many times. But see, this is a good example of DEC, which had great earnings, and a few people got out in the 120s. Congrats to them. I'm covered, so I can't yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this, like, just tight formation, you can see it on the 14, right? Like, it's just not moving that much. Doesn't matter so much. You can just pick a spot because maybe you can get slightly better, but if it's a slow burn down, these are going to stay pretty chill regardless, and you're not going to find a perfect entry. So, but for the volatile movers, keep an eye on those two. And you'll see points throughout the day where it's clearly, this happens as it's happening. You'll see it like way above the line. So make sure you got your settings right and all that. But when it's above that line, on both of them especially, that's your ticket to, if you were waiting for a sign, there's your sign. Easy one, rule of thumb, not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. Do your own due diligence. But like, that's just something to think about when looking for an entry or an exit. Obviously, things can happen and it can keep going in either direction forever. But in a non-catalyst induced environment, you can trust that to some degree. You can use it as a general guide anyway. What's going on, Lord Mar? Good to see you. You still don't like DEC? I gotta say, they redeemed themselves a little bit. Should we talk about DEC now? I'm kind of on it. We might as well talk about it. So here's all my rolled CCs that will pay me 3,200 on top of selling at 115, the new strike. Although I'm locked in for a couple of weeks and we could very easily finish out of the money. And at this point, I think I'm okay with that because it's very likely we go talking about channels here constantly. I'm always talking about channels like I'm watching cable. But we went almost right back to where we were, right? So there was this run up. We had that disaster of an earnings, and we sat here for a while in a new channel. And then are we back to here, right? Are we back to this? I'll draw it from here. We got to draw a couple lines to maybe here. The thing is, it's not a stock that moves all that much, but like, look at it. We're back in it. We're on the bottom end of it, but we're in it. And I would think that there's a good shot that we stay around here. Now, again, we can slow burn down a little bit and create a new channel. I don't know, test off some of these fibs potentially. We'll see what happens. But here's what I challenge everyone here to consider. What should you have done here? Should you have done anything? I know people who got out in this range. Now, let me give some context to that question, and that is when this all went down, the earnings weren't bad. The guidance was bad. The CEO is being a douche. He's like, yeah, Trump tariffs. We're not going to give guidance because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, thanks, asshole. That's what everyone already knows. But you're the CEO. Pick a direction, right? Like, that's what you do in a leadership role. You got to pick a direction. And when you give no direction, the market does not react favorably to it. However, it was clear that it was not a broken company, to use Average Advisor's terms. it was a broken stock. And I love that term. So we hung here. Some people could have got out around this 110 if they wanted to just like cut their losses, which would have been honestly super reasonable. However, there was really no reason to believe this wouldn't continue back up to the channel. So can't fault anyone for not getting out there. But then I also know people got out here. And that's a question of, was that the right move? Now, the question, I ask that because a lot of people will say, well, look, my position was 100K. I could, if I sold at that point, right? It was 1,000 shares. So if I sold at that point for 100K, could I make 10%, I would have needed to make what, 20% or 15% to get back to my cost basis. Would I be able to do that? And the answer is yes, obviously, eventually. But here's the other part of the equation. When we get to the next earnings cycle, this was kind of expected. Now, it could have not done anything and the CEO could have been a jerk again, right? So there's a lot of variables going on here. But at the same time, there was no reason not to believe. We couldn't believe it because we didn't trust the CEO. But there was no reason not to believe we wouldn't go back to basically exactly where we were, considering the earnings that were reported were good last earnings cycle, and nothing came out between then and now that said things were going to be terrible in the future. So here's the answer that I've come up with. And really, once you get about halfway here and you've kind of committed and you're still holding the bag, and there's no real catalyst that says it's going to drop further, obviously it could. But if you're of the opinion that there's just as good a chance that it's going to go back to where it was, well, the return on capital is hard to beat, considering we basically saw from here, not quite a 20%, a 17% or 17% gain. That's pretty good in a month and a half, right? Like, let's do the math here. 17%, well, what's 12 divided by 1.5? 8. I probably could have done that math. Multiplied by 17%. That's over 100% return. That's great. You're actually going to struggle to do that weekly on many stocks. So if we had taken a step back, there was actually a good argument to, at that point, stick with it. As frustrating as it might be, especially if you're selling covered calls and continuing to lower your cost basis, when you add all those things up, once you get to the next earnings cycle, and assuming you get out, actually all you did was wheel the stock for a couple months, and it was a pretty good result because we got paid well for premiums here and well for premiums here, and the premiums across were like okay, they were like up %. But aggregate altogether, it wasn't bad. It was probably like 2% average across the life per week on that stock. Not bad. Like, honestly, you look back on that, and as frustrating as it was, that's where patience really pays off, and why it pays to be able to zoom out and go like, okay, yeah, I could rush. I could cut my loss right here. And if you did, probably also a smart move, because you could do a similar rate with that capital at this point that you could, that we did here all together. Now, the only caveat to all this is I don't like the stock. So I probably, like, for me, when I look in hindsight, getting out here would have been the right answer. Getting out at 108, if I could have timed it that well, which I couldn't have, I probably would have tried to get out here when it looked like momentum was dropping at, say, 107. It doesn't matter. So 107. And then 107 to where we're at now, 117. Definitely could have done that on many other stocks in that same time period. But an interesting consideration and like just brain exercise on when you find yourself already holding bags, you got to watch out, because there's the whole sunk cost fallacy that you know is a thing and you don't want to fall into. But at the same time, like, there was a real argument in hindsight to stay in it. And I think that's just something that we got to ask ourselves when the emotion starts coming, because over here, there was many days where people were like, "Oh my god, deck continues to drop. This is garbage. I hate this stock." But kind of like UNH right now, I'm of the opinion. I'm like, yeah, it's at 280, but like whatever. Nothing matters till next week. Nothing matters to earnings, and that's something I think is worth thinking about. What's going on, Alec? Justin, you sold it 101. Oh, dude, I every time I go through these, I inadvertently just bash somebody, and I apologize. That was unfortunate timing. Your biggest was Pew. Yeah, that trauma will last for a while. In fact, I think we have people who are still holding it. Do you want to? Oh, should we do it? Should we look at the Pew chart for a second here? It hurts my eyes. It's like the Burj Khalifa, except not in a good way. This is so bad. Oi, what a we? Oh wow, we closed at 675. When does the end? When does the pain and suffering end? Look at that. Just red, 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 red. You could write murder backwards on that chart. Yikes! Yikes! Okay, I won't put any. I won't put you. Let's look at a pretty chart. Bull. Yes, the big arrow bull. Are we up to bull? We can talk about bull next. Hey, Chad, is ZS on my radar? No. Is that Zscaler? What is ZS? That's AS. It is Zscaler. Okay. No, I have looked at it. That's actually more expensive. I thought it was a cheaper stock than that. The cloud security company. Okay, I will be honest with you. I don't understand this business at all. And what I found is when I invest in businesses I don't understand, I do poorly. And you can get lucky, of course. I mean, shit, if I bought it at 200, I'd be pretty happy right now, I suppose. But no, I don't really know them that well. I've heard of them a lot. They've been on corporate computers that I've owned where like Zscaler is currently enabled. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what that means. So obviously they've got like a customer base because that was a pretty big company that I worked for. But again, I don't have a good understanding of them. So it's playing limbo with the $0 line. Oh, brutal. Yeah. Well, I was gonna bring Pew back up, but we're not gonna do that. I don't want to give Justin any more trauma or anyone else. No, he was talking about deck. I should finish up my rant on deck. So I'm locked in right now till 8:15 on 115 cc's. I've actually thought about like IV is going to drop now, and I may find an opportunity to buy them back and then just sell the shares potentially or hold on. I don't know. I think at this point it's fine either way. They've been somewhat redeemed. They're at risk of going out of the money for sure, but I don't have the same heartburn with them anymore because I can almost no matter what, right? I can sell them above cost basis, CCs on them. So at this point, no matter what, I'll get out ahead. Um, I think it depends. It just depends as we get to the 15th where we end up. But I don't have the same level of heartburn that I did have with deck. And the longer I see these in green, the better, right? Like if they get called away, and if they get called away early, oh my god, even better, right? Like that'd be fantastic. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would take that. I'd be very happy with that. The Zscaler is a pain in the ass. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they don't make money, right? Like it's all about getting into those businesses, and once they're in, they're never leaving. INTC. Oh, let's look at. Okay, they're not on my list, but I know they had earnings, and I do want to look at INTC. I was morbidly fascinated with their earnings, and I watched the pop. I think was this earnings day? I don't know. One of these days was earnings, right? Or maybe this was probably a Tuesday. I don't have it up anymore. Oh, it says it. If I zoom out, I forgot. The earnings was on Thursday. Wait, no, that's the wrong earnings. It was. Oh, it was Thursday. It was last night. Oh my gosh. Okay, I thought they had spikes, and I think they had a spike last night up for a moment. Yeah, they did. Can I zoom in on that enough? Or maybe they didn't. I thought they had a slight, like a spike to get people to think that, oh, things were going well, and then they just dumped again. God, talk about a disappointing stock. Nana, man, turning in her grave. The guy who sold that from bought it all at 35, all in 750K, and is just dealing with this. Okay, now here's one thing about INTC. It's just a channel forever. I mean, like literally, I don't know. I'm not sure I would call it a swing trader's dream, but for sure, this has been one of the most predictable moving stocks for God, a year now, right? Or whenever that drop happened. I can't remember when that drop happened. Well, that's when the drop happened, and that was yeah, a year ago. And obviously it exceeds the boundaries of this frequently, but like, okay, maybe I should do this then, right? Something like that. But like, come on. You know what this is? This is pure hopes and dreams, and then them being crushed, and then pure hopes and dreams again, only to be crushed again. Like this is just there are souls being tortured. This might be someone's version of hell. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Lucifer on Netflix. I liked it. I'm not a religious guy. I probably shouldn't be talking about this at all on stream, but I just one of the things they had was like the whole idea was everyone lived in their own version of hell, and not the first time that that's been thought of, obviously, but this is most definitely that Nana guy's personal hell, and plenty of other people where you're as low as 19 basically, and you're as high as maybe 25, right? Like repeatedly. Now, percentage wise, this is not bad. I mean, I would be in and out of this all day if it moved as quickly as I like Reddit. Uh, but ugh, it's like a heartbreaking chart. This is a year. Gross. I color code based on cost basis. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you talking to me? I think you're talking to me, right? You're probably talking to me. Intel has better CPUs. They used to, Alec. I don't think they do anymore. I've built computers since 2001, and I was Intel fanboy forever. Buy them at Micro Center. I don't know why, but they're $50 cheaper at Micro Center than Newegg or anywhere else you could buy them. And the last computer that I bought was AMD. That's what I'm using right now. It's on my it's like this big. It's one of the I guess I'm not gonna do it because I have to like change all my webcam settings, but it's just like the small form factor. And AMD's been fantastic. I actually I'm sold that they're the better CPU now. I don't think they're the better graphics card. I think Nvidia is better, and that's what I've got in here. But I do think AMD has made a really nice. The Ryzen processor has been really nice, whereas the i7s and things like that were the flavor back, 10, 15 years ago, and they were easy to overclock. I was I got a computer back there. It's all water cooling and stuff. This one's not, but like Intel was really nice and easy to water cool and overclock from like you could take 3.1 quad core up to 4 gigahertz and run it for years. But now, yeah, honestly, I've liked the Threadripper. Is the Risen Threadripper, right? Is that it? Well, it's Risen. I don't know if it's a Threadripper or not. But I hate AMD stock. I mean, if that makes you feel better, I bought it like here and sold it here. It was one of my first big losses that I ate because I just didn't want to, couldn't stand sitting on it forever. In hindsight, probably should have just sat on it forever. And in fact, God, we're getting really good at drawing these stupid cup and handles. Let's do it again because here we are. Which one is it? This one? I want the arc. Where's the arc? Is it this one? No, that's the. Oh yeah. This. Here it is. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to let me do a straight line. Come on, I want to do a straight line. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So what's happening next? You know what's happening next. Next we do this. I'm going to draw this now, and you all are going to come back in a month, okay? Because it's going to take a few weeks for this to resolve. And let's get our arrow going too. Well, we gotta zoom out. Okay, this is okay. We want to be up here. So our arrow, and you guys know what we do with the arrow. Got to make a big ass arrow, and it's like almost always right. What the hell? I'm getting tired of it being so right. Where's the arrow? No, I forget where the arrow is. Shoot, was it the same one? It's probably the same one. Oh, there it is. All right, somewhere it's going to be right around here, and we're going to go to here. Okay? Okay? You in? There. All right. That's it. We're going to leave this chart. We'll save it, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have this cup and handle thing happening, and you're all going to be like, oh my God, put that on a shirt. Muffin Man on a mug now. Actually, why do we not have a cup and handle mug? Oh my goodness. Genius idea. But yeah, this has been just the trend that's been happening this past couple of months, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it's this common generally with stocks, but man, it's been recurring for us. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. All right, let's keep going. You guys get me off track. I'm getting myself off track, which is the real problem. But I like to blame you. Okay, we sold a single CSP for Reddit at 145, which was in the money for a little bit there, on and off, obviously with the Reddit TL plays, RDTL, and just bought it back for like, I don't know, like 80% or something. So it was good. Baller idea. Are you on it, Muffin Man? Okay, to do this, we need like we need to print it on the cup, but like the cup's got to be a certain shape too, right? It can't be this. It can't be the standard mug. It has to be that like bowl shape one, and somehow a different handle. If we can source that, we will make millions of dollars. But I'm in. I think it would be great, and I will put the bull chart on it in particular because the bull one is my favorite. I typed in the wrong thing. Pacer U.S. Cash Cows Growth ETF. Never heard of it. Now I'm going to look at that later. But yeah, the bull one's my favorite. We're going to talk about this in a second anyway. So, okay. Yeah, so Reddit CSP, that was good. Real simple. Like a couple $100 play. You might wonder why I bothered. This was to round out to 1,000 shares in one of my accounts that I didn't like looking at 900. So I'm like, we need to change this. We need to go to 1,000. And I was like, I'll happily get it at 145. And this, I could have actually sold it for a better price. And again, patience / whatever. I would have been happy paying that price. So I bought it, and I didn't think it was going to hit anyway. And it didn't. So we're good. And then we had Tesla. Tesla was interesting. Sold these last week at 750. I did buy them back, and it was only $5, but 99% profit. The reason I bought it back was exactly because of what we experienced today, right? And that was we dropped. The 5 day is probably better to look at. We dropped as low as 300. I really do. I thought about buying TSLL here, and I should have, but I didn't. And could have done a run up for a couple bucks. And this happened, right, where we almost fully recovered. And the reason, like, I didn't personally panic about this at all. I don't know about you all and who else, a Clay guy. Of course, the Muffin Man knows a Clay guy. Is this a cup and handle? It's a tiny cup and handle, just saying. But when it dropped here, right, like everyone knew already that earnings were going to be a miss. So then this is one of those weird cases where it missed and dropped. And I kind of feel like that shouldn't have happened because everyone knew. Like that legitimately was, we used the term priced in a lot, but like that was genuinely priced in. However, there was a run up going into this where, we were at the 290s, low 290s at one point, and we ran up to almost basically where my CCs were. I was in the money at one point. Um, but with the drop, I was like, that was an overcorrection for sure. I was hoping it was going to drop to the 290s, and that was my plan to buy TSLL. Greedy, I think, a little bit. This would have been a good case where it's better to be directionally correct than exactly correct because, well, no, I guess being exactly correct is always better. But if I had stuck to just being directionally correct instead of trying to be exactly correct on a specific price target, I would have made money, more money, and it would have been a good play, right? And I think it was clear in ahead of time that that was the intent, and it was clear in hindsight. So like the two stories matched up as expected. And I don't think we're going to go back to 330 necessarily, but I think we're going to continue to hang in this 320 range, which is what we've kind of been doing for a little while here, right? 300 to 350. Well, I would say the actual channel is like 300 to 330. That's where we've mostly been with random spikes up and down. So, long story short, I was hoping to sell it at 330. I don't care that I didn't. And I tried to sell CSPs or CCs on it today at $4 for 330 next week. Almost hit. It would have hit probably had I put that order in here, but I put it in here. And we got to like 390 ask. And so we never got there. But I was fine with it. I'll probably still be able, there's a good chance that I'll be able to sell it for that, if not more, on Monday. So whatever. But it's nice to hit it a little bit earlier if you can. But that's why I bought it back. At first, I thought I was going to squeeze and try to juice it down here at 310. 310 was an actual target I had when we were at 300. But I kept thinking, I'm like, it seems likely that we're going to exceed 310. And that would have put me in the money under cost basis. So I was just like, I'm not taking that risk, especially on Tesla. And we ended up going all the way past 320. So when it was hitting 315, I thought about doing the same thing at 320. And again, I'm like, I don't know. Who knows? This could continue all the way back to 330. And it almost did. Like it was, for a moment there, I was like, oh, thank God I didn't touch it at all. And then by this point, there's just not enough theta left to do anything. If you're going to do like a squeeze play, you kind of need to do it in the morning of a Friday versus in the afternoon, because basically everything just ticks away to nothing at that point. There's no premiums. And even if you can get a premium, frankly, it's not worth it for the risk of a black swan event or a random tweet from Elon or Trump or whatever, right? Like just throw all your plans in the gutter. But either way, I was happy with that trade. That went exactly how I wanted it to, with the exception of it would have been cool to sell it. It would have been another $1,000, and that would have put me over the 10K mark. So I would have been like, sweet, perfect, more cash going into next week. But we didn't get there. All good. A latte mug. Is a latte mug? Yeah, I guess they are kind of that shape, right? That's fair. Teacup shape. Yep. Nobody understands Tesla, Alec. That's how it works. I do like TSLL for swing trading. For now, again, not financial advice, but like for me, I it's got to be under 300 for me to even consider it right now. And I wouldn't touch it above. Well, I wouldn't touch it above 300. I would sell it at 320. That would be the whatever the equivalent is for TSLL. That's what I would be buying and selling at. All right, cool. Next up, we got Archer. Archer was a fun, simple one. $11 at the money CSP. And the bull trade. Oh, we'll come back, Bull. Don't worry. We'll be back for you. Archer was, we hit this again. I love talking about channels. We basically hit another channel. Oh, this one carried pretty well, I think. No, that's an old one. All right, we're going to delete that one. But basically, we've been in this like 10 to 11 range, and we had this random ass spike to 350, which Archer does. Like you could see it, and okay, I get to I every week I have one thing that I like to pat myself on the back for. This is it for me this week, and it actually shows up a little bit better on this chart, where when you look at like the 6 month, these. It spikes up and drops almost the next day. Like, I should be buying puts on these spikes, and maybe I will next time. Probably not, because that's not what I do, but I should. And the reason is because this happens every time. So we were here, and I think people were selling $13 CSPs, and I felt a tinge of FOMO, and we all do. But I resisted because I'm like, well, look at the chart. I'm going to slap myself if I do this in a week. And I would have genuinely like hit my head against the wall because it was so obvious that we had this random ass spike again. And Archer is just not ready to spike and hold it because it's news. These are news clips. Every time this is a tariff news or defense spending or some clip, and it doesn't last. And there's no real rhyme or reason why it doesn't last. I can never find anything that's like, whoa, that was disproved. But man, let's look at the comparison. Joby. Oh, Joby. All right, Joby. I see you. Maybe I need to start looking at Joby more. They're in a new channel too. Holy cow. No, okay. Let's stay stupid, sexy Joby. We're going to stay with Archer. But, when we were here, it felt like we did we did start maybe a new channel from 11 to 12 instead of this 10 to 11 that we've been sitting in. Now, realistically, I actually think that we're likely to drop back to the 10s because there's nothing really holding this up right now outside of the general interest in drones right now, along with the potential that Archer is moving into defense. That's the argument for this to continue at this level until earnings, which, when is earnings coming up? Not for a while. Never, apparently. So like I moved the fibs. I don't foresee us dropping out of this anytime soon, but I would be wary here. What I would do is I would wait to see what our next back test down is, because what I don't think is going to happen is I don't think we're going to start going up and sustaining it. I think we're going to bounce between these fib lines most likely for a little bit, or drop down to here. That's kind of it. That's what I envision until we have, some real earnings coming up and catalyst change. I do like Archer as a company, but that doesn't mean that just because you like something, obviously doesn't mean it's going to do better all of a sudden. And I know we got some Archer fans here too. You've been saying Joby for weeks. Yeah, I don't see any CSPs from you there, Mr. John Rose. Just saying. Actually, I guess I can look it up. Didn't you post them? You posted them, so maybe you do have. I'm totally lying. You might have CSPs on there. I'm not sure. What I don't know about Joby are the premiums. Let's look at Joby, because I'm not sure what the price. I know they were higher priced than Archer, like traditionally or historically. Maybe that's not true. I thought they were. No, they were. I guess they were. Maybe they were for a while, and then Archer took over because the CEO is sexier than Joby's CEO. It's like Google and anyone else, really. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to see what the premiums are, because I don't know if they have the IV, though, right, to make them kind of interesting. Now, that said, they could be a real good buy and hold. They could be a real good buy and hold. Do you hold it, or do you just watch it like a stalker? 132. Oh, for what? Oh, for IV? Like 132%? I guess I could look it up. I don't really want to. So I'm just going to pretend that's what that means. Yeah, well then, if that's the case, then they're going to have good premiums. Wow, okay. Nice. All right, let's do this. Muffin, you want to talk about this tomorrow or Sunday? This might be a good one. No mid CSP. I don't know what language you're talking, Slappy. Sorry. You need more words than that. I'm sure there's a good meaning there, but I'm just not catching your drift. Muffin, let's talk about this one tomorrow if we can make time. Maybe we do it after the regular stream. I will bring it to the Bake Off. We're gonna put Joby up against Blueberries. I don't think they'll win, but we'll at least put them in the running. All right, cool. So that was a big tangent for our share. But I will say this, 50 contracts, not super expensive. Percent wise was good. Like, let's look at the percent, right? I think that's important. 27 cents on 11. I mean, it's got 2.4% return on that. I've been writing this down a little bit. You can see you can see it in the upcoming ones. Whoops. I think that was a real good play, and I would have been happy owning it at 10.73, whatever that is, right? So like that was a fine play, and I would probably do this again next week if we're starting the week in a similar spot. Although ideally we actually have a drop pullback on it, and then I would jump in even harder. You know what? I don't know. I'm not sure I would do more than 5% on this. I think Archer is one that I like, but it stays in my low conviction for now, for the purpose of what we're doing in generating premium with it. But it was a good play. It was good. It was a good one. Good return. Then we had Bull. Bull was good. Bull was like a late week play, and I sold 30 contracts for 16 when we were pretty close at the money. I think we were at like 16, 18 at the time when I sold these. And originally I tried to sell these for, 50 cents maybe. And then eventually settled on 45 cents, but got impatient. It was like, we need to make this happen. We're running out of theta. And sold it for 43. The idea was, this was a 5-ish% position, and I was ready to do this, and almost did. We got close. I wish this one hit. I would have loved if this one hit, and it was a little greedy. I probably could have got this if it was at 40, if I was quick, and that would have dropped me obviously a little bit. But I was looking at more than doubling the position to get $14 CSPs at 50 cents. That was a thing. If we had dropped another, okay, let's look at that chart. All right. I kept bringing it up, and not because of the beautiful arrow that I drew that came true. I love that. That is amazing. But because of this, we dropped to a 1.1532. Now, I didn't catch it intraday like that. I was looking at it a little bit after that happened. And I think it was like maybe around here. It was right after that drop to the bottom, and I put in a limit sell. And it was just, I was hoping that we would have had a nice little trough this morning, which we get sometimes with a lot of stocks. But that's how I like to sell options on stuff that I'm looking to get into on CSPs. On those morning troughs, often you can get in, and it didn't work out. If it did and continued to drop, oh man, that would have been chef's kiss, where I would have been thrilled to take this one on, even though it represented, whatever that is in shares, 5,000 times 14. That's a big number, 70K, 68K, whatever it was, after cost basis adjustment. So that would have been amazing. 3.5%er didn't get there. Damn it. Pretty upset about that. We can't do another God Arrow on Bull. We're not past this one, man. We just made this one. This is like, you got to let this one just sit on the refrigerator for a while, right? Like, look at that. Gosh, that was so good. I'm going to be telling my kids about that story. My kids, the story of the arrow that was just beyond perfect. And like, I swear the tips touched at one point. I think I might have moved this accidentally, but at one point the tips touched, and that was a thing of beauty. And now we're here. We're in, like, for sure, we're in this channel for a while. I do think what I said today in the Discord was, I think we're going to continue to intraday go above and below, but it's a tight channel, and I think we're going to keep closing in it for a little while, maybe until earnings, which is, I thought earnings was already listed, because that was in May, June, July, August. It should be in August, right? Somewhere over here. So I think that next earnings is going to be huge in determining where we move now. Obviously, it's a huge catalyst, right? We're not that far from IPO or any of that, but I foresee real good stuff long term from Bull. Do I think they're the next Hood? No. Do I think they will continue to ride the coattails of Hood? I do. I do. I think they're in a category with Hood that these other companies just aren't. Like IBKR and Fidelity is not public that I know of, but these other companies that they're good. Like Vanguard is garbage in terms of user experience, but Bull is something that is comparable to what we see with Hood and the gamification part of it, like the feel of the way they incentivize people to join, the get a free stock bullshit, like all that stuff. They're doing enough of that where, at least for a little while, we should see the benefit of the copycat. Now, long term, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, and I haven't looked into well enough the executive team. We don't have enough track record and history of execution, but we know based on the product and how that works that it's a good start anyway. Thank you, Slappy, for using more words, although most of them are symbols. I at least understand it. Okay, $18, 8-8 put, 132 at close. 8-8? You went 2 weeks out? So 8-8 is 132. All right, we can do the math. 132 divided by $18 times 26. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's at the money for sure, right? We were at 18 when I looked at it, but that's not bad. Interesting. You prefer Bull to Hood for trading on the charts? I've heard that. I've heard that from a few people. We have a few traders that actually have said that, not just you, Justin. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. We have some Bull chart fans, and although maybe slightly less intuitive than Hood, I think some people have said they're more powerful. I'm not sure because I don't use either on my phone, but that's interesting. What's going on, Colton? You could use a few magic blue arrows on some stuff you're holding. Got anything you want to look at? We're down to just the last couple of charts here for what I've got anyway. Okay, so that's it for Bull. Beautiful play. Super happy with how that ended. Finished slightly. I would have been happy if they finished in the money. Like, that would have been fine. But yeah, that's what we did. And then we lined up a couple. I could delete this now because that didn't happen and won't happen. Well, I guess it could happen next week. But we got a couple for next week already in the tank. $7,600 between Reddit, which is an earnings play, CSPs, 145. I'm happy to buy it at 145, especially $10 off. Fire sale. And then ASTS, 150 on 54s. This was your showcase. Are you still here? Yeah, I see your name. This is what I was talking about, that you sold me on this unintentionally. I don't think you were trying to sell me on it, but I've been looking at it and I've been like avoiding ASTS because I can't help but think that we're going to drop to 25. Because, that was the last play I made on them prior to this. They were a freaking $25 stock. There it is. And then we just went, whoa, Moon, whoa. And now we've got maybe a bull flag forming. I don't think it's clear yet, but like for sure, we've got the beginnings of that bull flag, right? And I'm going to show CoreWeave after this, just so you know. Sorry, Shoki. I'm giving you notice so you don't like throw up in your Cheerios and ruin them. But basically, we definitely have a formation starting here of something. I think, there might be another bounce before we break out, but you know what I'm going to draw. Boom! Whoops. No, don't leave the site. Boom! We need sound effects in the stream now, like, lasers and stuff. Lasers don't actually make sounds, but, I'm thinking like Star Wars sounds. I'm not sure this will happen, but Trogdor is a believer that it's $100 stock. And the dude's got $11 million, maybe $12 million in it now, right? So there is something to be said for conviction of that level, and I don't think we'll go that high. All right, we're gonna shrink a little bit, but if we do this a couple times, like this is genuinely a potential. The thing is, they have to execute on their launches, which is where there's been hesitation in the past, and also why I was hesitant to play the game again, because they've done this before where they spiked up and then dropped down. Now, nothing like this, but I feel okay about it for a week. I think I don't feel like we're about to drop. I don't know. We could be. We're still around all-time highs, but it doesn't. I don't get the vibe that we're about to drop and have the bottom drop out of us. We'll see. Time will tell. But I'm okay holding. I can't even speak. I'm okay holding it for now. I tried to combine owning and holding, holding it for a little while here because of someone else's conviction. Is that wrong? Probably. Generally not recommended to just invest that way. But it's a pretty small position. I think I did 5%. And yeah, 5%. So yeah, I think it'll be all right. 2.7%, good premiums on ASTS. And they really do have some long-term potential. Looking to see weak markets next week. Well, there's a lot of talk, especially on the server, that August is historically weak. I don't know. Bob is a bear. He goes Bob Bear every now and again. He's kind of like a transformer, right? There's literally no revenue or launches. There are launches planned, though, is what I've heard at least. Serious brain damage. I just caught that. Yeah. I don't need his conviction to be right. I just need it to be half right. If it's half right, we're good. Actually, if it just stays where it's at, we're good. Oh yeah. Air horns would be good with the arrow drawing. We'll do that next time. So back to the August question. There's historical weakness in August. But if there's anything that I've learned this year is that there's not a whole lot of historical things happening right now. So I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. But all I'm doing is continuing my plan of weekly option selling generally and going into cash as much as I can on the weekends, except for a couple positions like here. And the Reddit play is very much earnings driven. We're not actually in August yet anyway, so I feel okay about these. But I probably will be a little bit more conservative on some plays. I have a couple big ones in the oven, pardon the pun, Mr. Muffin, but UNH is a huge one right now in the oven for me. That's my biggest percent play right now, and I'm down right now a lot from my cost basis. $40 down, which is 12% or something. So that one, I don't know. It's not painful, but it's definitely it weighs on you in that there's a lot riding on earnings. If earnings doesn't go well, nothing actually changes because originally my take has been this is a multi-earning cycle play potentially where I expect to get back to 400 as an example. But to be honest, I would love to get out at I would get out at 350 here, most likely, if we had a stellar earnings that had a nice reversal from where we've been. I don't remember what we were talking about, so we're going to go back to the list here of, we were talking about just heavy plays, things in the oven. No, I don't remember what we were talking about. Then other plays that I've got lined up are ONS and GME. I fully expect to buy GME back next week, make another $500. It came close. We got to about 0.67 today when I was looking. So I put an order in for 0.6. I would have bought it back at 0.6, which isn't quite half, but that's okay. You don't have to wait for 50% to get out when you're before 50% of time elapsed. If you're in this case, I'm only 20% of time elapsed. So realistically, I could have got out today at a better profit and just called it. But I decided to hold on. There's no rush. I think this will end up getting bought back next week unless there's some wild action going on. And if this goes in the money, great. I don't care. My cost basis is $23.50. it says 25 because I don't want to get rid of my premium, but the actual is like, if you look on Fidelity, it's like 23, 25 or something. So we got those plays, and then Google is in the money, and I get to stare at that for a couple of weeks, which is fine. Like I said, $20 is $20. It was a good percent play. I would do that again. Cost basis is 170, and so you've got, 20 times 200. We'll call that a win, right? Plus the premium of $600. Google premiums suck. That's one thing that I've noticed about Google is it's not quite like GME level where it moves enough where you can really where I like to wheel it and buy it back. But I may start doing that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may start doing 30 to 45 DTE trades here, and just keep buying it back because it does move enough. Let's look at the Google chart. We get enough intraday, intra-week where for sure you're buying back at points here, right? Yeah, I need to rethink my strategy on Google a bit. However, I bought it here and here, right? And this was an anticipated run-up where Congress is buying it, Long is buying it, talking about hot girls take Waymos. There's a lot of talk, and the run-up to earnings was funny because earnings didn't do shit, right? Like the actual earnings was fine. It was good. And it was like, yeah, we priced that in the run-up. So now getting out at 190 is great. I'm happy to do that. The only thing is, maybe I went too far. The thing is, like, when you go out more than a couple of weeks, you lose liquidity because they're not until you get to the week of, but then you lose premium value that you can go after because you don't have the liquidity there of just the monthly options. So I usually go out to that monthly option, which was the 15th, obviously, for August. And it paid well. It worked well, paid well. And now I imagine here we will form a new channel of some sort. Can we keep running up? Yeah. But I think we actually have already generally taken the steam out of the move here. Although, oh, this is amazing. Oh, we're going to do it again. We're going to this should be illegal. I can't keep doing it. They can't keep letting me get away with this. Okay, well, now we got a new plan. We're going to do... Oh, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. What's next? You guys know what's next. This is so dumb. I feel like an idiot. But the God Arrow. We have another teacup. Oh, this is beautiful. Google. I'm for it. I'm here. It's happening. Oh, it's going to happen. Look at that. That may actually be like legitimately a real one too. Another real. What the hell? Have I just been missing it all these years and it happens constantly? How do we keep running across this? It's a completed curve. I'm sorry. I'm just staring at this because I'm trying to see if I'm doing anything wrong. I don't think I am. Like maybe it's slightly off on the top, but what the hell? That's for real, right? The teacup giggle? That is what it is, dude. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to start printing out all of these and just like, you're going to see them all over I don't show my background, my walls, because the room is a mess, by the way, but I have cool stuff back there that you might actually like to see it. I'm going to start posting them on the wall behind me. Just every single freaking teacup with the God Hour that we make, that hits. We're like 3 for 3 right now. It's actually insane. Actually insane. I cannot believe it. You didn't hear anything. So, wow. Okay, we might have some new plays on Google. Now, the question is, what do we do with that? And because the premiums are so I might buy calls, but maybe we'll do some leaps. Let's see what happens. If we end up having the expected teacup handle here, can I do that like multi-line thing? Path, yes. Boom, 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 boom. If we have that, I will 100% buy some leaps. Promise. Promise is made. Oh, I totally forgot. I do have one other thing to look at. And then we can talk about stocks other people want to look at. CoreWeave. Sorry, Showcase. Oh, this one's scary. Um, I bought puts here, put leaps, and this was drawn last week, right? Showcase. We did this last week, and I don't think we did this on stream. No, I just put this in the Discord, but we drew this before these bars, and this is a bear flag, right? That's what we're drawing. And I was looking at 125 CSPs, and Showcase, thank you very much, dude. They talked me out of it. He goes, I think you said 120, didn't you? I think you said. Oh my God, you're almost right. Almost. Is it going to be a reverse cup and handle? Oh, that's disgusting. Is that a thing? Mind blown. That might actually be a thing. Oh, we need to look into this. Okay, we're gonna do it because you know what? This is obviously our thing now. We have to draw it. And do it in silence though. So so if this works the way we expect it to, then the line should go like this, right? And and then there's the God dump arrow. What do we call the God arrow? The hell arrow? Oh, it's Satan's arrow. Oh no, that goes really low. And the problem is that might not even go low enough because we were talking about there are gap fills to 50. Actually, technically it goes even lower, but we're just going to say 50 because it was such a nascent stock here. But oh, that's just brutal. How does that look? Oh, can I make it red? I could probably make it red, right? How do we do that? There. Oh, here. Red. Oh, gross. Oh, yuck. Okay. Well, if this one hits, I'll be happy because I bought two put leaps. Now I bought them and they're already like underwater immediately, which is funny because it pulled back. But I only bought two because if there's a pullback, I might buy two more. And we have potentially like a double bear flag in a row, which is or this inverted teacup where you dump out all whatever the liquid is, the stock liquid. I don't chicken stock. I am making myself laugh tonight. Okay. Dumping out the chicken stock, and we get this Satan arrow. These will print, man. Oh my goodness, these will print. Sheesh. I don't know. I feel bad for drawing this because I don't like to be a bear. I'm not Bob Bear, but big yikes. Okay, I'm legitimately after the stream going to ask Average Advisor if this is a thing, if an inverted cup and handle is a thing because I've never heard of it, and it very well could be. But maybe let me zoom out because I think Showcase you said it nicely. I like how you said it. You said it's a new tech stock, ran up too quick, and it's got to pay its dues, right? And I think you said your target was 80. Am I right? Did you say 80? Maybe you said lower. Maybe I said 80. No, I said up here. You said 80. And Lulu, God, don't no, we're not talking about Lulu, but yeah, that I hope it's not Lulu again. Another $2,000 evaporated. But what was your 80 based off of? Was it the gap fill at 80? Was there a gap fill at 80? Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe you said some other number. But the thought was we've got to revert way back to the mean here, and it feels like that's happening. There's a lot of compounding kind of negative news going on, and that could happen up into earnings. You know what would be funny if at earnings they announce a Bitcoin treasury, and the stock will absolutely dump. Um, God, if that happens, I need to get into like astrology or something, tarot reading. $60. That's okay. $60. Yeah. Yeah, man. That would be crazy. But there's nothing stopping that from happening, right? Like we are clearly in free fall. Nobody understood why this was happening to begin with, as is tradition with, an IPO. It is a beautiful curve though. Like honestly, the nature of the curve is impressive in how it's kind of formed. And the question is, how far will we go? I I don't think we're done going down yet. There's nothing that tells me we've found support because there's not been enough time to create support. This is like you could argue this is support way down here, and even that's arguable. But this is purely speculation and FOMO, I think. Especially when we got to this wild peak, getting near 190 here. I don't know what else you would call it. Now, a lot of people were justifying that it's a great business. It's all over the place. It's going to do great. It's like, yeah, sure, probably. But, we need earnings to really set that off. And we one earnings cycle is just not enough. I don't think. Like curves? Check. Yep, I do like curves. I like my charts thick with two C's. All right. That actually is my last. I guess I have one other. I got Lucid, silly leaps that paid, and I'm gonna stare at them in the money for forever. If I could buy these back, I will, and I will literally leave them uncovered. I promise, I will leave them uncovered and just sell the shares at $3. But no, I'm stuck with them for now. But they had a announcement with like an Uber partnership, I think. That's actually kind of interesting, but the bigger issue for Lucid is just I don't think they have capacity figured out for building trucks or cars in general. Like they've got the new Gravity SUV. They have a new factory they're opening and all that. Sounds great. But, when you look at the delivery numbers, it's Lucid, it's Rivian, and then it's Tesla is like, breaks through the ceiling of the chart there. And I don't really believe in Lucid long term. It's been a value play for me. I'll walk away having made, I don't know, 20% on it. Maybe I'll have made 40% on it over the course of like a year. Not really that good of a play. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. It's distracting. It's a small position. It's like 1%. And I really just need to get out of it just so I'm not thinking about it is kind of what it comes down to. But it is funny that it decided to rocket up immediately after me covering it, like a day after I started. I'm like, okay, January, perfect. And then it was like, yep, okay, idiot. That's what you get. So yeah, anyway, things are looking good. The only thing on the horizon that I'm worried about at all is UNH. I'm not worried. I'm more like I'm worried I'm going to be staring at this for a year, and I don't want to stare at it for a year. I think it'll come out of profitable position. I am not planning on cutting this, even if we wrap up below what we expect. I will continue to sell options on it come the end of next week, or basically after earnings, which is, we talked about this a bunch on your call, Muffin, last weekend. Oh, what is it? Is it next week or the week after? I don't know. It's coming up, right? Let's see. I think my watch list shows it. Yeah, it's the 29th. Okay, perfect. You shut your what's your position? I think we have identical positions, don't we? Don't you also have 700? No idea if Lucid knows who their insane clown posse is. What do you mean? They have mascots? That's amazing. The Lucid mascot. It's actually a branding deal with ICP. I love it. Rivian definitely coming into it. Dude. Yeah, but Rivian sucks. The stock sucks. Okay, let's look at Rivian. I played Rivian for a while. And talk about like another just frustrating channel bound forever meme. Somebody get the forever meme. What's going on? I see you. I want to say your name, but I can't actually pronounce it. I don't know how it's actually. Levitar. Is that how you pronounce it? Elevator. We're gonna call you Elevator. This channel is big. He's in the Discord if you're wondering. He's talking in the Discord, posting memes. It's big, but it sucks. Like, I feel like the hype cannot break through. Oh, wow. We have a triple top, don't we? What does triple top mean? Triple top is bearish, isn't it? Is it technically a triple top if they don't exactly match up? Right? It's something like that. I think they're supposed to actually hit the same resistance line. So maybe it's not a triple top. But like macro trend bearish, in my opinion. And well, for sure, right? Like zoom out. And we need to change this here, but let's do the week. What did I do? It's not a good look, this chart. It just sucks. And I've played it here repeatedly. I played it with WTF, when he was doing that, posting about it with his stupid ants and stuff. He was a believer. I wonder if he's still in it. I don't see it. I have friends with Rivians. It's a cool car. I've been in it. I would buy a Rivian. But again, they're not there. And I don't know if they'll get there. There's the execution piece, which is so critical for automobile manufacturing, not just for like delivery numbers and stuff, but straight up your capex, is so heavy that like you need it, and it depreciates. All this stuff has been depreciating for years already, but they're not breaking out. Now, here's the thing. What if what we need to do is look at this a little bit further out, zoom out, right? And if we go like this, maybe. Dude, I'm looking at a picture with my face on it in the Discord right now, and it's driving me nuts. It's like in my face. But what if this is all just a giant cup? What if? Maybe it's like this. Oh my God. Okay, are we all not just buying this right now? You guys are placing overnight orders as we speak, aren't you? Don't forget, there's still this part that we have to worry about, and then we ultimately get what comes next. I'm having way too much fun with this. I guess you could just draw this on everything. Oh, I'll draw it, but it's the wrong color. There we go. Let's make this one blue. Is this what we're going to see with Rivian? I don't know. Okay, here's the problem. The Rivian is more of like forming a plate. It's maybe eventually we make a nice plate shape and we get up to here. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. I don't believe in it is the problem. The catalyst is 2026 with the R3. But it's not. I don't think it is, man. Okay, sell me on it. Sell me on why the cat. And I know you got to type, and I talk fast, and you can't type that fast. Probably, I type that fast. But what are they going to do differently besides having a cool car? I bet the R3 is awesome. You want to hear something cool about a Rivian? So the guy that I'm friends with that has a Rivian, we work out in the morning outside in this workout group, right? And he pulls a speaker out of his car, like it's in his car, and he pulls it out, and it's a Bluetooth speaker. I'm like, that is so cool. And Tesla, I have a Tesla. Tesla does not do that. You got me beat. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. But if they can't make the car, and they can't make enough of them, what does it matter? I'll tell you one other thing. He has a foundation series, or what do they call that? Edition, whatever, foundation edition. And I messed up the fibs again. Shoot. Oh, I hate when I do that. There we go. He's got the foundation edition, and he's in the shop a lot. Early, especially, and the problem is they don't have the support infrastructure yet. He has to drive 2 hours. We're outside of a major metropolitan area, and he has to drive to another major metropolitan area, a couple hours away, to get that thing fixed. Dude, that sucks. Like they have a lot of things that Tesla has long invested in that makes the customer experience good. Now, obviously, early adopters, you know what you're getting into, right? That's part of it. But can you do that when the competition already has all of these things? Okay, I see a lot of chat going. Cheaper car, that's true. What are we talking about? I gotta catch up. The only people who think that are people who bought in the hundreds. What are you talking about? Rivian? There's some problem with chat. Like you guys, you might be talking about UNH still. This is why Tesla, yeah, that is why Tesla's good, honestly. Takes 5 minutes to remote unlock a Rivian. Dude, for real, the design is good. The seats are amazing. The speakers in the seats are amazing. They've got that like surround sound thing going on when you're on a phone call. It's amazing. I'm no way bashing the car. I may still buy one day. It all comes down to, can they execute at a mass quantity level? And you might ask, do they need to? Well, I think they do, because they're not set. For one, they are selling a luxury car, right? It's not the cheap Model 3, which isn't even that cheap anymore, or whatever Slate or something somebody was telling me about the other day, like who were designing specifically really, cheap electric cars. So they're not in that, but I think they need to at least match Model S and Model S and X Tesla numbers, don't they? Like even half of that, and then maybe there's an argument that they're executing, because I just don't see it. I don't see how they're gonna get to the level that we all want, like genuinely want them to. Like $28 is not even the level, I don't think. Like where do they want to get back to where they were? $50 stock at least, if not more. I just don't see it. I don't know. Market cap 16 billion, so cheap comparatively. But you need deliveries for that to really be affected, in my opinion. Anyway, what about the NIO cars? Yeah, is that the one that we can't buy? I can't even look them up, right? What is NIO? NIO is not the car, is it? Maybe it is. No, consumer durables. NIO is something else. I forget what NIO is. I mean, I know it's consumer durables, but I can't remember what they actually do. Like, that's such a generic title. Okay, anyway, we have gone for quite some time tonight. That kind of hits everything that I wanted to hit. I don't have much else to talk about for next week. I am excited about Reddit earnings. I guess we can look at this real quick. Next week's earnings. And I gotta move this for me. Click the wrong thing. Yep, there we go. Reddit earnings are the biggest thing on my mind. Showcase, if you're still here, we got Roblox. I didn't even realize they had earnings this week. There's a lot going on Thursday. But let's go through. So Monday before opening is almost always garbage. I don't see anything I recognize. After close, nothing really. And Tuesday, we've got UNH, which is huge. I'm very much looking forward to that. SoFi and PayPal, especially SoFi, because it's such a cheap stock that the stock price allows a lot of people to play it. And I think that, I don't know, PayPal just doesn't get the same action. SoFi, though, there's a lot of people interested in it. I'm curious if anyone's got any takes on SoFi. I thought NIO was the battery company too, because I think Tron is always trying to push that one. Tilray, dude, I don't even know what Tilray does. I've heard of it for sure. Are you sure? No, NIO though is not the stock ticker, I don't think, for the electric cars. Whatever. Let's see. UPS, there could be some interest there. Spotify could be some interest there. Merck could be, yeah. I mean, there's some big companies here. I don't like playing Merck personally. I'm not going to touch that. Visa, I don't touch Visa or any of that stuff. Mara, oh my God. It's probably Mara, isn't it? Marathon, Mara. That makes sense. I always called it Mara. I hate Mara. Well, I don't hate it. I looked at it for a long time, and so many people have been burned on it that I just refuse to touch it. And to be honest, I don't believe in Bitcoin mining operations as a business. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. Obviously, people are going to do it. Companies are going to do it, but I don't know. It's not my thing. We got Starbucks. What do we got? Boeing? Is Boeing? Oh, where's Boeing? Well, we'll get to that if it's on there. Neo is the car? Okay. Well, shoosh. I didn't know. Yeah. SoFi's a good one to play if you like that price. Neo is both. It's cars and batteries. Damn it! It's everything. What else is there? Starbucks would be interesting though. Let's take a quick look at Starbucks. S-Bucks. You know, the new CEO came in, big jump. Then they kind of fell apart. I don't know what to think looking at this chart. Honestly, let's see. What am I on? 4 hours? Why am I on 4 hours? Let's look at the, we'll stick to a week. And I don't know. I look at this and it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't help that I haven't really paid attention to it in a while. Like, you really need to be reading or listening to earnings reports, I feel. So we're going to skip over that unless anyone else has any big suggestions on Starbucks. See you, Muffin. Thanks for joining. Cheesecake Factory, not going to touch. Don't care. Caesars, not going to touch. Don't care. We've got VRT is a popular one. I think there's some people that are playing that in the server. And then we've got VIRT, which is what people play accidentally when they typo in VRT, or vice versa. Etsy, ooh, Etsy. Etsy's a disaster, isn't it? No, they had a good, didn't they have good earnings last time? Let's see. No, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. They might have had good earnings, but ugh. Oh, well, I don't know, maybe. Can I draw a cup here? Not yet. We'll have to wait for the cup on this one. But there could be a cup. I don't know. There could be a cup forming. We'll see. Yeah, I don't like Etsy personally as a company. It's a race to the bottom is the problem. And like in terms of commoditizing product, it was a good idea at the start. And this like genuinely doesn't surprise me that we saw such a run up because it had its time in the sun. But now it's allowed itself somehow to become a commoditized. You know what would have been really interesting for Etsy? And they're heavily affected by tariffs, most likely. But what if there was some way to like control things being made in America? Wouldn't that be a cool spin that they could have really stuck to? But they're a business, so you know that's it. The race to the bottom is because they were on a race to the top. That's just how it works. And I'm not sure they can ever get out of it. I personally think Etsy is in kind of a death spiral. I'm not sure they'll ever get out of it. I don't think they'll disappear because people make money on them as a marketplace. But I think they'll slowly get replaced by other systems because at one point they still are. I looked for, actually I just bought something from them, but the guy that I bought from, I didn't buy through Etsy. I bought the bobbleheads, these guys, for the Super Daddies. So I just bought 20, which apparently I need to buy 40 more. Damn it. 47 more. So like they're okay, but you don't have to buy through them. And in fact, I sell something. I sell something on them. I sell the tracker on them. Nobody's bought one, by the way. Just kind of somebody told me I should do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out. They charge you. I haven't even sold one. They haven't gotten shit from me outside of the setting up the shop. I don't see it, man. I look at them and I'm like, I don't know. They were a thing 5 years ago. I don't feel like they're really a thing anymore. They could be a thing to make contact with somebody, but there's no control. There's no like, if you're buying one-offs, yeah, but if you're looking to do like a package deal, you're going to contact the people that you're working with, and they're going to be like, well, look, we're going to make a custom order for you to buy, and if you don't mind buying it outside of Etsy, that'd be great. And while Etsy is like, well, we can't protect you. I mean, dude, nobody wants a bad review. That'll kill a business. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. It is a good place to start. I agree with that. But that's all it is. And if that's all it is, you can't run a business off that, can you? I love Hog. I love the call signal for or the stock ticker for Harley. I wouldn't touch them, but they're interesting. All right, here's the big one though. We start in the really big ones Wednesday afternoon. We got Meta, which is an expensive stock, so not a whole lot of people are playing that. Microsoft, I don't touch Microsoft. I feel like there's nothing wrong with them. I don't know. I never think of them. There's Hood. Hood is going to be huge. Hood has been pegged. I think we finished at like 105 today, but they've been pegged on that 100 channel for days. And I know I'm on weeks, so let's look at day. But yeah, we've been hovering here. And maybe we're making another bull flag. I don't know. It could be. It's really not quite as dramatic as it needs to be for it to be a bull flag. So, but I think we're gonna trade sideways probably into earnings. And I don't know. The problem is we're so extended right now. We're way above all of our moving averages, right? We're above the cloud. We're above the fibs apparently. That I don't see a place where I play this stock. I thought about playing them this week. And for $100 CSP, you could sell it for like 105. So 1% play. And like that was fine. I would have been fine owning it at $99 if it was assigned, but it really just wasn't, it's not sexy right now. And it won't be, I don't think, until earnings pass. I'm worried that we're just too far extended, that earnings will be good and we're just going to have a drop because we need to revert to the mean or something. Who knows? Could keep going up. I do believe it's $100 stock, honestly. I think this is like a good place. I mean, $100 billion seems reasonable for a company the size of Hood and the things that they're taking on in other spaces. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to play it. I'll probably stay away, to be honest. We got a lot of people in applied APLD. I don't touch APLD. I don't understand it really. I don't know what they do. I hit the wrong thing. And I think a lot of people are burned right now, especially down here. Maybe you made some back. People selling CSPs up here. Always be careful. Don't sell CSPs at all-time highs, man. I mean, it's just don't do it. Just wait. There's no reason to rush into anything ever. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I don't understand what they do. I think a lot of people have, but the technology argument, right? I hate that argument. I don't think it's a good argument. I think that's a lazy take, personally. Now, if you believe in the executive team and the leadership and what they're doing and developing, fine. But like, careful with that jumping on the bandwagon. I want to invest in the technology. No, you don't. You want to make money. We all just want to make money here. So make sure you're buying a good stock, okay? And a rant. I don't deserve to be lecturing anyone, by the way. Carvana. Oh, Carvana's good. I'm not going to even bring up that chart. QCOM, Ford, blah, ARM, cool, CVS, Roblox. Roblox would be interesting. And then we've got, don't care about any of these. Apple will be a big one, obviously. Amazon's a big one, obviously. Strategy. I had to change our name from MicroStrategy to Why didn't they change it to MacroStrategy if they're going to do something? That would have been at least clever, I think. More clever than strategy. Coin. Wow. Oh my God. Thursday is stacked. I didn't realize everything was reporting. Riot. I'm not big on Riot. And then we've got Cloudflare. Hey, Showcase, are you still on? What do you think about Cloudflare? We talked about it. We talked on the server with this one. He made money, but probably won't get it back for a bit unapplied. Yeah, dude. See you, Justin. How about strategy? Okay, I didn't talk about strategy. I like strategy. I will never play their earnings. What are their earnings? Their earnings are, hey, we're going to buy more Bitcoin next week, and you're going to be pissed off. The stock's going to drop, but don't worry, it'll go up because the Bitcoin goes up, and we'll be like, okay, like that's it. So to me, there's no real reason to play earnings for them, but I do actually like wheeling them. I've made a bunch of money on them, and I would like to do more of that. In fact, I mean, a bunch might be a little bit generous, but enough. So, master, here we go. What do we make? Yeah, I mean 20K over a few months. That was fantastic. I love wheeling them. And I will get back into them, but I don't want to get into them right now until they're sub 400. And we're teetering. Maybe earnings will be the difference. But like I liked this channel. I was comfortable in this channel. I am not comfortable here. And there's no need to force your way into it. And in fact, I'm very glad I didn't. There's a lot of people. This is where people start posting on After Hour and other places like gains, gains, gains because they're holding the stock, and it's cool. But like those are the same people that were holding it here and dropped, and I can almost draw a cup here. Oh my god, I can draw a cup. I'm gonna draw a cup. We gotta draw a cup. We're gonna go from here to here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, and we even have the handle already. This is amazing. Okay, maybe I am buying it. Or maybe we are playing earnings because you know what comes next. Where is it? What comes next? Oh, it's the wrong color again. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a thing. Could be. Could be. It's kind of a cup, right? It's an ugly cup. Kind of broken, chipped, dented, whatever. It's an aluminum cup. I don't think it's really a cup, to be honest. I think this is just we're gonna have earnings come up here. I wish it was a cup. But this could happen genuinely, but I don't think it will. I think they're just going to cycle up. I think they're going to start more closely cycling with Bitcoin. And what's the best way to show that? Like if I bring up Master MicroStrategy, I like to call it Master. And if we compare to IBIT, I guess maybe, right? I feel like we're starting to more closely follow than we did, and that's appearing to be true. We're starting to more closely follow Bitcoin, which is not surprising because that's what they do. So they're like becoming IBIT with slightly better premiums and volatility. When you look at the last month, the overlay is close. That's close. That's genuinely closer than I would have guessed. Let's look at the 6 months. IBIT is just like a smooth curve version. So now I'm not going to start playing IBIT. I don't like IBIT at all. I don't even want to own Bitcoin, which is kind of comical. But I just like playing strategy because it felt predictable here, and it was. And we're tightening up again right now. So maybe we're forming a new channel. Maybe. And maybe I'll start looking at it, but I'll probably wait till after earnings, to be honest. Mister is a good name too. We need to admit our addiction on what? On MicroStrategy? On strategy? Will Bitcoin move with earnings? No, I don't think so. I think Bitcoin is its own animal. And I think strategy will move with Bitcoin, but I don't think Bitcoin will move with strategy. No, the cup and handle. Oh, it is an addiction. That's clear. Obviously, I'm addicted to cups and handles. That's forever. I'm going to leave this one up too because if this happens, this is going on the back wall. We're going to make. It's going to look like one of those. What do they call it? Like I'm going to start connecting strings with push pins. Like a crime, not a crime scene, but an investigation of the different cups and handles and how they're all connected. And then in the middle is going to be the Illuminati pyramid. It's going to be beautiful. You'll love it. It'll be the best background ever. All right, let's get through the rest of this. Roku. There'll be some people playing Roku. I forget what does Roku go for now. Is it expensive? It's all right. I don't know. There's some Roku fans out there. I don't like Roku because they keep putting ads on more and more shit, and I don't like it. Like I would short them if anything, but I don't do that. Outside of CoreWeave and Lulu, God, I got to stop doing that. But yeah, I won't touch Roku. I'm not a fan. I think they were a good business to invest in. Let me be clear, especially like Oh, never mind. Holy sheesh. I did not know that. Early on, I thought they were a great business, but the problem was they kind of like lost their way. Yes, Dirt Turtle. Perfect. It's a broken teeth. I may need to change my avatar. You guys can't see this, but here he just gave me this image. I think you can you see you probably can, there you go. You can see that, right? I think you can see that. Yes, the teacup. Chip. Hey, that's Chip. You know Chip, right? I know Chip. I just watched the live one with my kids. Not to because I'm a theta daddy, an actual daddy, certified theta daddy. But no, I won't play Roku. I don't want it. It's really what it comes down to. And then Friday is apparently gas and energy and industrial bullshit that I don't care about at all. So I won't play any of these either. But I could see some interest in, I don't know, maybe CNH and Exxon, Chevron. But not my cup of tea. I got other cups that I'm interested in. All right, I think that's everything for today. Oh my god, we went for 2 hours. Hopefully, I didn't bore you too much with my rambling. The only question is, should we do story time today? Should we do story time? I don't know. Do you guys deserve story time? I don't know. Do I have a story to tell? What story should I even tell? You're only here for the God arrows. That's fair. Any ideas for stocks to use data strategy for accounts 5K and under? Yeah, dude, for sure. Let's talk that. Don't do Lucid, but you could. But I have live ones right now. ONS. I don't know if I brought the chart up for ONS. We could do that. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I had no idea that we were going to just have to do this again. I thought we were done with this. But here we are. Oh, it's happening too. Oh my God. How is this on every chart we look at? Are you guys messing with me? I mean, this is insane. For real? I can't keep doing this. Anyway, uh, that's genuine. Like that's actually a good cup. That's a good cup and handle. Like genuinely accurate. For real. Oh my goodness. I need to send this to Tron ASAP. He's gonna be like, "Why are you messaging me at 11 at night? I don't care." We got earnings coming up though, so that's going to be an interesting catalyst potentially. So I have CSPs here right now. Okay, sorry. Back to the topic at hand. You were asking about. Okay, we can look at BBA. BBAI I don't like. We can look at it. Um, we have a cup and handle, which is cool, but the stock trades between right now 2 to 240 ish, right? Like something like that. Prior to that, it was in the ones. It was great. And if you were to do a contract on this, so one single contract is for $2 CSP times 100 contracts, only costs you $200 in capital to have that. And it sells for right now 20 to 25 cents. So let's do 25. For a $2 CSP, it's giving you a 12.5% return on capital for 815 puts. Ask me how I know, because I have them. And I looked at the price and it was 25 cents earlier today. So you can, if you look at that on the calendar, which you can't really see here, we've got 1, 2, 3 weeks. So if you do 52 divided by 3 times, what did we say? 12.5 or something like that. Yep. There's a 200% return. And this is a genuine company, right? Like they have a business, they are making stuff, they are selling stuff, and this is a stock that you could find yourself interested in potentially. Not financial advice, do your own due diligence, you know the drill, at a very nice price. And the reason that I bring them up in particular is the problem with the smaller size ports and selling options is you break rules that I like to use of staying at 5% of a port size. Well, guess what? One contract of 5K is 4%. So you can do that. And if you find yourself with high conviction, you can do a few of them, right? You can buy 2, 3, 4 of them, whatever, 5 of them. 5 of them would put you at 20% of your port, but you're making potentially 12.5% or 200% annualized return on selling those options. Again, you very much need to justify investment in that company on your own. But right now, it's an attractive one from a selling premium standpoint if you find that you align with what they do to consider investing in them. And I would only advise that you look at them as a company and see if you like them or not. And that's one that would fit in your price range. So there are others, like BBAI is definitely another. Oh my God. Did you have to say, oh, I hate you? Ugh, you son of a. God damn it. Fine, fine. We did it again. What the hell, man? Why is every stock a cup in hand? Like, what the hell is happening here? So you can do both. Right now, the stock is trading just about $2, and what that means is you could buy shares in multiples of 100 and then sell them at 2 or 250 cc's, depending on what you want. All right, if you want to get out from immediate profit ish, likely you could just sell. And I think they just opened up weeklies as well. So that's definitely something to consider. It is very much because of the April BS. You're right. That's very true, Alec, and I agree with that. All these cups have to break through. Yeah, I know, man. I don't know if they will, but it's fun to draw, isn't it? My whoever's like managing my trading view account in the background is like, this idiot has like 17 charts of cups in hand. Someone's looked at this or looking at this like, this is a high percentage of arcs and arrows. Um, but yeah, you could look at this. This would be right now the price is what, 730. So a single contract is going to cost you $740, right? And of your $5,000 portfolio, that's a fairly decent position. But if you want exposure to AI, which is what obviously BBAI does, and there's a lot of belief in this company from many others. I'm not a big fan. I got out at 5 actually, and I have no regrets at all because I held it through the cup basically. But most definitely, you could. I guess maybe it's more like this. Um, you could look at this one as an example, as a potential. So certainly, not a bad stock in terms of there's a lot of overall interest in it, but I wouldn't recommend it personally as I got out of it. Um, yes, once you have to bag hold something, it always leaves a bad taste in your mouth, doesn't it? Red Cat's another that I don't recommend you do because it's very volatile and kind of a little memeish in a way. Clove is another one on my watch list that $3 stock you can kind of mess around with at that level. Archer's getting a little heavy. If you're a big fan of EVTOL, that would be a 20% position for a single contract, if not more. But those are all options. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there's a lot of people who do Ford. Yeah, I said do. I don't like Ford personally. I think it's boring. But it had hung around the $10 range for a while in a channel that I had tried to mess with it weekly, but the premiums were just dog shit. So, some of these you might find yourself, now you might like Ford, but in those cases, you're probably going to have to look at 30 to 45 DTEs and do the whole sell and buy back versus weeklies they give you the optionality of buying back or just waiting, letting it go till expiration. And expiration's just never far away, which is kind of nice. Yeah, no IV at all on Ford. Let's see what Palantir. Oh, bag holding. I haven't. No, there's no. They aren't they up at all time highs again? There's no bag holding there. What are you talking about? Oh, down here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That was That was a rough patch too. I remember that one. I had looked at them many times. I this goes back to I don't understand them. They don't have great revenue yet, and uh, I couldn't convince myself to get into them. Actually, okay, I maybe their revenue is a little bit better than I thought, but their PE ratio is just it's been bonkers for forever. So I've stayed away from them. Thoughts on BTM? I don't, dude. What the hell is BTM? It sounds like a boy band. Bitcoin Depot. Blech. My thoughts are it sounds dumb. You know, like it. So I stay away from crypto. I don't know what they do. Is really what it is. So are they like Treasury, or I guess I can click on their link. No, I'm not giving you my location. Get out of here. Oh, interesting. They're like PayPal for Bitcoin. Wouldn't touch ARCAT above 8. I wouldn't either, actually. So I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know anything about this, but this is interesting because it's appears to be a Bitcoin bank, like PayPal almost. Um, I don't know. This could be okay. I would look into it. What does the chart say? Are they new-ish? Let's see. All new it. Oh God, do you are you just trying to get me to draw a cup and handle? I'm not going to do it. This isn't a good cup and handle. This is like an air fryer holder thing. Well, I don't know what you even call that. I'm not going to do it. There's no cup and handle here. I'm sorry. This is like everything's stuck over here on the bottom. And okay, here, let's do this. I will say this. This is clear that you might have a bull flag. So there's that. Like from a TA standpoint, there is that. But do they really have the juice to run? I don't know. That's just basic TA. I'm not sure. I wouldn't do anything with this personally. But if you're a big fan of the stock, I don't know. Could be a good sign. Could be a bull flag, and might be something at least consider. You could see volume picking up for sure. There's the interest has certainly increased dramatically. Let's see. Mixed shelf. Well, I don't know what that means. Is it too late to buy? Probably not. Additional. Okay, so they are doing a treasury thing too. But it actually makes sense for them if they're acting as a bank. I don't know. It could work. So, are you watching me with coffee? Oh, I feel bad for you, brother. That's a choice. Any space stocks? You know, I followed Rocket Lab and chose against investing in them down here. No, it was probably here. It was probably here. It was in like the $10 range. Um, that was a mistake, I guess. No, it seems like a good company. Like I did some digging on them, and I didn't see anything that scared me, but I just don't know enough about them. And it was one of those things where they were very popular on After Hour, and it felt kind of pump and dumpy, so I just stayed away from it. But I would look at this. I just there's no way I would ever buy it right now. I just won't. There's no way. This kind of breaks one of my personal rules of look, if you got something like CoreWeave and other things that are running, I'm not gonna ever FOMO in at the top. It's just not gonna happen. This is if you're not invested in Rocket Lab right now, you shouldn't be choosing now. My personal opinion. Um, I would wait for a pullback, a reversion to the mean. Now we got earnings coming up. I would definitely wait till after that. Now, if earnings comes out and it's like, hey, new channel because clearly we're worth, $25 billion. Okay, fine. But they haven't been. And you can like look at Google Street image views of their factory. It's not a very big facility. So I can't help but look at them and be like, I've worked in bigger factories that were worth $500 or $500 million. Sorry. And I don't see the the sell right now. Would I buy them at 20? Probably. I'd probably be I'd probably be thinking about it. But it's just it's a wild story, and I don't know if they could support it, right? And that's kind of where I'm at on it right now. We're too far above all the moving averages again. There's some panic FOMO buying, and we gotta let things resolve a little bit with Rocket Lab. Oh, Cooler, dude. No, don't touch Cooler. I'm in Cooler. I don't even share that position anymore. So Cooler did the reverse splits. I sold CSPs here and made money a few times, and then I got stuck here. Boom. And it's just, they did a reverse split here, I guess. And it was 8-1, which is a pain in the ass because now I have an uneven number of shares. And I don't even want to buy more shares. I'm just like, screw you, forget it. But like the stock has to, this was, by the way, this was $2. And now we're at, $7. I have to get back to $18 for it to break even, $17. It's just, I don't see it happening. This happened here because they make, I think they do, what do they do? Cooling technology for batteries. Is that right? And so I wasn't like, this was never a high conviction play for me. But what's interesting was here, they freaking announced that they were opening a Bitcoin treasury and just tanked. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Like, what's a sell here? And all they were doing were essentially diluting shares and buying Bitcoin. And I don't know. It was dirty. I didn't like it. I don't like the management. I think they're dumb. And I have no interest in being a part of them in the future. But at the same point, I'm like, I'm going to hold the shares until they're worth more than what they are right now. Will that ever happen? Probably not. They're probably going back to $1. But my position's like 0.05% now, so I don't even mess with it. It's literally it's a $1,000 position. Like that's why I don't even list it. If ever this spikes up and people go, oh my god, did you see Cooler? I'm like, oh, sell. Until that point, I don't care. Oh, I screwed up my screen. I never fixed it. I'm sorry. Nobody told me. There we go. But yeah, I won't. I have no interest in touching them anytime soon. This whole time I didn't have the prices on. You guys didn't tell me. Come on, man. A little further. And I can see my Windows bar. I feel exposed. There we go. Okay, cool. Anyway, no, I don't like Cooler. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's a good company. I don't think their management is right now doing the right things. That could change, but right now that's my take. So I stay away from them. All right, I think that's about it. I'm not sure we've got a whole lot else to go through. Any other things you want to look at before I wrap up? Now I got to give you like 30 seconds to hear my question, type a response, me to read the response. Some of you are boomers, I know, so you type slow, but just kidding. All right, yeah, it's past my bedtime too, honestly. I gotta go to bed. So thanks for joining in. It was fun as always. I'll catch you next week, same time, same place. Tell your friends, tell your parents. I don't care. We'll have a couple high noons and look at stock charts together, draw some more cups and handles. And I cannot believe how many we drew today. I genuinely, I'm going to start saving some images, printing them out, and you might see them behind my head next week when we do this next week. If you are in the server, we're going to do a week in preview with Muffin Man. I forget what we called it. Something like what's cooking in the oven type of deal for next week on Sunday night. And I'll be there. We won't be streaming that on YouTube. That'll be on the server, streaming in the server channels. So check that out if you're interested in that. Muffin Man did a good job last week going through it on Sunday. And it'll be a good time. So hopefully we'll see you there. If not, have a great weekend. Be safe. And